Now, all right, this is an episode of Just from the Shed. I got my buddy with me. Joe is here with me. Joe, good to have you.
Good to be here.
Joe has come in. He's come a long ways just to be here. He has traveled, mountainous terrain through the mountains. And I've done something special just because of him. I had a project I was working on. And if you'll notice behind us, Joe.
Oh, studio lights.
I was putting these lights on my camper. I'm putting them underneath it.
Right.
And I said, it was raining, and I said, I'm just going to do some special lighting here just for us.
Well, we're stars. Well, we need a little of that.
Well, I mean, the only problem I got is I want a disco dance once I start seeing that.
Yeah.
There you
go. Yeah.
Joe, good to have you with me. Joe's my buddy, and I really appreciate you. And he's been a blessing many, many years, and I do. I just appreciate you. You're a good fella.
I appreciate
you. You know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I think we should take time and acknowledge that with each other sometimes.
Absolutely.
There's enough rough stuff out there for us.
That's right. The world's full of meanness.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
I had a lady said something to me yesterday, said something about being nice. I said, well, I'm nice a lot of times. I said, every once in a while I might not be, but I'm pretty good. I said, if I can hit it in a 50-50 range, I feel like I've done good.
Yeah, that's about 50-50. So you got to keep a little bit of edge on you. You can't be too nice. You know, they'll push you around, start taking advantage of you.
Exactly.
That's another thing.
I tell Janice that every once in a while when she starts giving me orders. I said, I'm supposed to be a trophy husband.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm supposed to be the kind of man you take to parties.
Yeah.
I'm not built for that kind of work.
No.
I mean, my hands ain't like you hold your hand. You see?
Well, I've got them cleaned up a little.
Yeah, but look at mine. Mine ain't like yours. Mine is sort of soft.
Yeah.
I mean,
mine's a little rough.
You got the Deborah and calluses on your hands.
That's right. Yeah.
You're tough.
I try to be.
Yeah.
Have to be in the line of work. Yeah.
So tell me about family. When we talk about family, what are some things that come to mind when you think about family?
Well, definitely the most important thing in your life and in this world to me would be my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a daughter very young. I was 18 when I had her. Mm-hmm. She's 26 now and on her own and doing good. But, when I was younger, I really didn't realize what I had.
Yeah.
But, as you get older, you start realizing that your family and your kids is everything in life when it boils down to it.
Right.
Money doesn't matter. Objects, material things don't matter. When it gets down to it, families is it.
I think that's wealth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that a lot of times, my family will come to the house and I get to cook for them and sit on the porch, and man, my family's noisy. Oh, we're noisy. I mean, I get the daughters get to going, and everybody gets to going, and all that. And I think now that is wealth.
That's right.
Okay, that's true wealth.
That's right.
And when I watch them all eating and talking and doing stuff, I'm thinking, man, that's rich.
If they're happy and healthy, it doesn't matter.
Right.
The rest of it don't matter.
Yeah.
It's all trivial after that to me.
Yeah, it can get to be, and you lose sight of that. My dad said a man was like a coon dog. Time he's good for anything, he's dead with old age.
That's right.
And time you really figure that out, you know what I mean, the earlier on. And I think this generation, I was watching my boys on the porch the other day, sitting out with his son, and Costa was just laying out there on the porch, and he was playing in the sand, and I thought, man, that's good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to take time now.
Yeah, my youngest one is 4, Sam, and he will really get on your nerves on a trip. He'll really get on your nerves on a trip playing I Spy, if you know the game.
Right.
But I Spy with my little eye, and he'll do it over and over and over. But at one time in my life, I would have been like, "Be quiet, I've heard enough." But to hear his voice say, I Spy with my little eye, I know that's going away. Yeah. I know it's going to disappear. And if he says it 1,000 times a trip, just let him say it. Yeah.
Family's important. It really is. All right. We talk about family. What are if you could give advice to men your age, how old are you, Joe?
Be 48 to 25th October.
Okay, 48. If you could give a man 38 years old out there, if you could give advice to him, and see, I think advice comes from experience, good and bad.
Right.
Okay? What advice could you give him?
A man with a family, You know, I mean, the world's made it to where things are so expensive nowadays. People have to work so much just to keep their bills paid.
Right.
And I understand that, man and woman. You know, a lot of women work the same way a man does now, work just as hard as many hours. But, you know, spend time with the kids, with your kids. Spend, you know, slow down and listen to them, and you know, look around you and take the moment in, and take the world in around you as you're spending time with them and doing things with them. I rush through life. I always had the motto, you know, why stop and smell the roses when you can drive through them? Just everything in a mad, hammered dash all the time. And I regret that, a lot of it. I wished I would have slowed down and took more time for the things that really, really meant something to you in life.
Yeah. You know,
that would be my advice to them.
I think what happens, you know, I listened to a guy one time, and I was listening to a series about family, and he said what we do is get confused about quality versus quantity. And kids are concerned more about the quantity of time. We know it's like a vacation, okay? I know we look, a guy one time I listened to him talk about going to his kids took them to Hawaii on thousands of dollars of vacation.
Right.
One thing that happened over there, somebody let off some fireworks in a parking lot. And when they got back home, all they talked about was that little old fireworks display in the parking lot.
Right.
And he said, we spent money doing this and on a helicopter and this on this and this on this, but that little thing there,
simple thing.
So spending the time, I think, you know what I mean?
And they'll remember it.
Exactly.
Your kids will remember it.
And it gets bigger.
Right.
Little things to them become bigger the farther they get back from them.
Exactly. Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah, but I think that time, take, like you're saying, take time, and really take time, and don't let other things that are going to. And I taught on this one time. I showed the church. I said beside the church there was a house down there where I pastored at, and the town come in and it was a ragged old house. They tore it out and cleaned it all out and cleaned a lot up. And I said, you know, that house out there, somebody gave hours and hours of their life to pay for that house.
Right.
And it's gone.
Right. Yep.
That stuff is gone.
It meant a lot to them at one time. It was everything to them.
Yeah.
And now it's, you know, when people pass away, you know, homes, farms, somebody else owns them that, and your family, people's families not even own them anymore. They just turn it over, turn hands.
Right.
Yes, don't get caught up in the material things. And I think this world is designed, and everything around us is designed to keep our minds in that kind of set, to go, 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 go. You know, there's so much fun here. We need to buy this. You got to have this. You need this. Just, I've kind of trained myself in the last 6-7 years to just stop. You got to stop and just realize, number one, you're blessed. Number two, if your kids are healthy and, you know, you're beyond blessed, just slow down and take it in, you know. Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that's, and I think, you know, I went too much early on, and, you know, Janice and I were early on in marriage, we pass each other on the road going home with a babysitter at the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We went too long and too much, but I mean, by the grace and mercy of the Lord, the kids made it.
Right.
But I mean, it really, I don't know.
Yep.
It's a big thing. Well, let's talk about work.
Okay.
All right. Now we're talking about working too much, not working enough, not doing this, and working. So what do you do really? What do you do?
Well, my main thing I do, I guess you could call me a farmer, but I background cattle for a guy. And what that is cattle come in, they're a certain weight, say 400, 500 pounds, and we'll keep them, and we take care of them, you know, make sure the fences stay up, make sure they're where they're supposed to be, make sure they're not sick, doctor them if they get sick, you know, get them up to a certain weight, 850, 900 pounds, and the tractor and trailers come over, and we gather them all up and haul them in with pickups and gooseneck trailers into a central location at the farm, and got our own scales, and we weigh them there and put them on the truck. They go all over, you know, go to different places. They go to Michigan and Iowa and Colorado. They go all over the place. Yeah.
So what have you seen change about that business over the years?
Well, honestly, I have farmed. I haven't been in this business but about 6 years now. What the government right now is trying to weasel into it. They're trying to do this mandatory ID tag on cattle. What they're wanting is they're wanting every farmer. Right now they're saying that the only people we're going to do is like rodeo animals. They want to be able to trace these animals, and what they're claiming it's for sickness control. Right. They want to be able to track them, where they came from, where they've been, if something happens. But really what it boils down to is they want all cattle ear tagged, microchipped, to where they can tell you exactly how many you got at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
That would be, you know, the government's getting involved more and more in it. Another thing that's hurting is out west, you big cattle producers like cow calves that have a lot of mama cows that raise the calves.
Mm-hmm.
Those family farms are shutting down by the hundreds, literally by the hundreds every year. And they're turning them into hunting reserves. There's more money in a sportsman coming in to elk hunt and fly fish, you know, than there is raising the cattle. So those are going away. So you're seeing a downturn in the industry itself.
So where will the beef come from?
I don't know. They're shipping it in from Mexico, Brazil. That beef, there's a lot of problems with that beef. They found a lot of bacteria and different things in it. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but right now the market's strong.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looks good. Right now everybody's happy. So we'll see what happens as years go by.
Yeah, and like I said, I know things change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, I know they change, and I watch some different farming documentaries and try to watch some of that because I think it's interesting. I mean, it's a lot of work to that, and I know you and I've shared before. It's something you really enjoy.
I love it. It's all I ever wanted to do.
Well, what did you do before this?
Well, before this, I worked. I drove a truck for a while. I had my own tractor and trailer. I had a flatbed and a Peterbilt, and I done a lot of steel hauling, a lot of mining supply type stuff. Did that, and before that, I worked in the coal mines. Worked for Consol Energy down at Buckhorn. And before that, I've worked in the prison. I've done a little bit of everything.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
okay,
right.
I mean,
I'm experienced in a lot of things.
I believe that too. I've always said I'm really not that good at anything, but I'm not a quitter.
I know. Well, one thing I tell people, I had people in my past. They'd say, "Oh, Joe, he'll hop from job to job. He'll leave a job in a heartbeat. He ain't scared to walk out." But I never was satisfied.
Right.
I never felt settled until now. Because farming's all I ever wanted to do. And, man, there is no...
It's good.
Yeah, when I get up and go to work in the morning, there's no frown on my face.
That's what I know. You told me. You told me that before. We talked about work and talked about what you did and how much you enjoyed it. You said every morning you're thinking about it at night.
Right.
Thinking about it in the morning.
Yeah. Not one morning have I ever... I've been tired.
Right.
I've felt bad. Normal stuff.
Right.
But never have I ever woke up and said, I don't want to do this today. That's never been an issue.
Well, I think that's really, really important. You know what I mean? At times I've cycled through things in my life that I really enjoy doing, and I think it's important. And you got to recognize seasons. Life's about seasons, isn't it?
It is. That's a fact.
You find yourself different seasons of life.
Right.
And I said, if you don't recognize it, you'll be standing outside in a T-shirt in the snow.
That's right.
You've got to know there's seasons in life.
Got to know there's seasons.
And it doesn't mean you've lost. When you left one job and went to another, it doesn't mean you failed.
Right.
You just recognize the change.
Right. Or a better opportunity.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always felt like it was,
It really is. Well, all right. We know about family. We've talked about work. But now let's talk about something important.
Okay.
Hobbies.
Okay.
Let's talk about. See, I mean, that's all. Well, I mean, I think the family thing's all great.
It
and
is.
work stuff's good.
Yeah.
But I mean, hobbies. You know what I mean?
That's a big answer. Yeah.
Now, those of you who don't know, Joe drives a race car, and him and Mike, they allowed me to, and Brad and Dan, they allowed me to help one day, and I'm telling you, it was a highlight of my life. I enjoyed it. And he
done a good job.
They worked me like a mule. I was soaking wet. Okay, it was hot.
It was very hot.
I learned so much. You got no idea of the science, and Mike is just like a chemist when it comes to this stuff. I mean,
he's a perfectionist.
I mean, he is something else. I mean, but it's so interesting. I mean, when you're up there watching in the stands, you have no idea what's going on down on the ground. I mean, it's just a pound here, half a pound there, a quarter of an inch here, and a quarter of an inch there. It's fascinating.
It is.
And the cool thing is, and you don't understand the panic too, okay? And I'll share this, and we're going to talk some about racing. And I don't know a lot about racing, but I know a little about people. It was a little funny to see Joe in the car because the car is extremely hot. There's no air conditioning. You wouldn't know that. But there's no air conditioning in those race cars, right?
No.
I didn't see it if it was. I
No,
didn't see you
sir.
find it. Anyway, he's in there. They've got a leaf blower blowing on him while he's in there, trying to keep some kind of air coming through. He's hot. He's hot. He's hot. So finally, we was trying to get a car to weigh.
Right.
Okay, and having some troubles getting it to weigh.
Right.
The longer it went, the hotter Joe was getting. And I could see him panicking, okay? Panicking in the car. He said,
Want one out of that car,
I don't care if you disqualify me.
Put me in the back.
Put me in the back. Do whatever you want with me, but I got to get out of this
Yeah, they had
car.
a little miscommunication.
Right.
The scales, it was like 8 pounds off.
Right.
And it kept flashing one side to the other, right and then wrong, and they couldn't. I was like, I don't really, hey, put me in the back. I don't care. I just want out of here.
It was something, but it was hot. Well,
Yeah.
tell us something about the cars and what you're doing.
Well, right now we're racing in limited late models. It's a late model stock car. We keep some other ones that are called Super Streets now. They run a smaller 8-inch tire on the Super Street. Same kind of car, but the tire just makes it harder to drive, takes the power. You can't use so much of the power.
Right.
What we're running is a F45, which is a Hoosier tire, and it's on a limited late model, which is a much wider tire. Circle track, Saturday night type racing, coilover chassis. We're having cars built by Jamie Bird at Bird Performance right now, and we're really pleased with the car. We didn't get to race it much this year, our new car,
Right.
4 or 5 times, and every time we took it to the track, it seemed like something went wrong with it that we had to fix. Either a distributor went out or the MSD box went out. Hopefully we get all those bugs worked out and try to have a better year next year.
Yeah.
Wanting to race some more next
It's
year.
extremely interesting, man. I'm telling you what, this is such an art form and a science. I mean,
I always tell people that don't know, people wouldn't believe what it takes to make something go in a left-handed circle fast.
Yeah.
Well, and it don't take nothing to turn the steering wheel to the left, but to make it go fast, when you start dealing with tenths and hundreds of a second.
That's it.
A lot of times we go to some of the tracks we go to, you'll have 7 or 8 cars that'll qualify with sometimes within hundreds of each other, tenths of each other. And, that's right. When you on the racetrack, that puts everybody right on top of each other.
Yeah.
So it's very competitive.
It's fascinating. And I tell you what, we talked some too, and we don't have to talk too extensively about it. There are politics in everything. I don't care if you're chicken fighting or if you're at the fair with your tomatoes.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's something to see things like that.
Yes.
And I watched that even in racing. I mean, I watched it in car, and we've got to enjoy it for the last couple of years now. We've got to just go sit in the stands and enjoy it and sponsor a few guys and really have fun with it. Janice and I have, and we just wanted to sponsor it because we wanted to be part
of it.
And I said that way we know who to cheer on.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And the 2 young guys that we sponsored, we've enjoyed them, and man, and I swear they have wrecked and been run over, cheated, robbed, wrecked.
They keep them old cars together.
I'm telling you, absolutely.
Yep. We're ready to go back, they'll say. They got it piled back
the
together.
One gentleman was Dakota that we sponsor now. He's got his, he got tore all to pieces the other day. And he said, now I'm going to get 2 pair of come-alongs and hook it to 2 trees so I can try to straighten out the body.
Pull it.
That's
all you can do if you can't get to a frame machine. Get between 2 trees.
He said, I'm going to pull it to straighten it back out. Right. But I mean, it's important to do something like that too. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, easy to get wrapped up in work and just do nothing but work.
Right.
And
you got to have a break from it.
And it really is. And I really enjoyed it so much, man. It was so much fun. It just was.
Racing is so much different than like soccer or football or baseball or these sports here in town or in any town in America. Everybody. I mean, there's a crowd at the racetrack in the pits. There's lots of people, but I don't know. You can't explain the camaraderie at the racetrack.
Right.
It's different. And I've had people tell I've been doing this 25 years. I've had people say, "Man, you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to regret all that money you spent." And I said, "No, I'm not."
That's all it's good for.
My dad passed away in November of 18, and he went to the racetrack with me for 20 years and never missed a race.
Yeah.
And them was the best times of my life.
Right.
Times at the racetrack. I wouldn't trade it for any of the money that we spent.
Yeah. I've got a family member that passed away not too long ago, and that they were always very thrifty. Okay.
Right.
And when they passed away, I mean, probably left $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, that's a lot of money, and the things you could have done.
Right.
Okay, and sometimes I think we get to thinking so much about the future that, and we're talking about hobbies and doing things that we don't enjoy,
Our
and,
life.
and
Yep.
all money's good for.
Yeah.
Okay, and money used to be something you could hold and touch. Now it's just digits.
That's right.
It's nothing but
Just a
digits.
number.
It's all it is. A digit you'll go online and look at.
That's right.
Okay, it's just digits.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be something you traded with, you know what I mean,
Right.
and you done stuff with. But I mean, so all it's good for in the end.
Well, you pull cash out in some places anymore. Even some of the livestock auctions are not so bad. They still take cash, but there's other places you pull cash out.
Yeah.
If it's over $50,
Yeah.
well, people panic.
Yeah.
They look at you like, "What's that?
Yeah.
I can't take that."
Yeah.
I don't understand, but
You know,
anyway, that's the way it's going.
we've got now. We do so much stuff on the apps and on the phone, and I do it. Okay,
Mhm.
I mean, I use a app for breakfast. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I use an app for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I use it. You know, and I can be laying there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and happen to think, well, last night it's about 3 o'clock. I woke up and I got to thinking, I'd like to have this mount for my camera. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I went on Amazon and looked for it. I said, I want a mount that I can put on my shopping buggy, because I take my grandson a lot of times, and I'm telling you something. It's an hour and a half for a toy, okay?
Until he
Because
picks
he
one
looks
out.
at everything, all up and down every shelf, and look, no, 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 no. And you can't suggest nothing, because whatever you suggest, he absolutely don't want that.
There you go. Yeah.
But I'm going to get me a mount to go on the shopping buggy.
Right.
So, because I hold my camera a lot, and I said, I'm gonna let people see what I go through.
There you go.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean,
Yes,
I
sir.
ordered it that fast on Amazon.
Right. Think about it in the middle of the night.
And if I needed a sewer connector for the camper that needed to be this and that, and might be odd, I can go on and put that in, and you know, it changes so much. And I think that's one reason that a generation or two before us had more money, because they didn't have such access to spending it.
It's so easy for us to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And you know, you sit and you don't think about it, but you just shop on eBay or Amazon, and you do 30 here and 50 there
Yeah.
and 40
Yeah.
there, and next thing you know, you spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I do $5.47 every morning for breakfast.
Right.
Okay.
That's cheap. For
Now
breakfast.
I get that 2 for $5 at
Yeah.
at the Hardee's. I get 2 for $5, and I bring home a half a biscuit for my dogs, because they're waiting when I get out of the car.
Right.
They're waiting on the biscuit. But I mean, I try to be real careful. Now I don't get that drink, because it's $3.
Yeah, that drink's
I go
what
back
drives
in
it up.
I go back in the house, and I always take me a diet drink out of the house,
Right.
or I wait till I get my points on my app and get it for free.
There you go.
But I mean, you know,
Yeah.
It's sort of a hobby for me too.
Right. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
And but I mean, the racing is great, and if you ever get a chance to go any of these tracks and get these, especially these are gyms, man, in the area, and you ever get a chance to go to them and see them, be part of them. I mean, and it's fun to be there. You just got no idea what's going on down there in the middle in the pits. I mean, it is something. And I watch Mike run around helping everybody.
Yeah, and he don't help. He helps anybody.
I
that's
see
in
him
a
going and
bind.
helping.
Yeah.
I see him going in and helping.
Mike is a super guy, man.
He really is. He's
a rare commodity.
I like him. I really do. And he put up with me and very patient with me.
You done great.
You know what I mean?
Man. We've talked about it, man. John, I think we need to just tell John you're just going tough there.
I loved it. I did.
We'll put Janice in the trailer in the air conditioner. She
won't mind.
Yeah, she'd be good.
I did put those hood latches in the wrong way one time, and you almost got me in trouble again when you put them. I said, no, I ain't doing this again.
It got to be the right way.
I'm not gonna have it. You can jump on me a time or two, and I'll catch up.
That's right.
I will. I'll work on it.
Yeah.
All right, we've talked about family, work, and hobbies. Now let's talk about just money.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, what are some keys to being able to be financially stable? And I believe that's an important thing.
It is very important. Well, for number one, you need to. You know, I've always had the motto: try to be the hardest working guy. You got to have some grit about you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to want to get the desire and the want to go get the money.
Right.
First of all, you know, you can't blow it on unnecessary. You know,
right.
You just can't go out blowing money. Period. You know, and work your money.
Right.
That's a big thing to me. Is I've seen several people in my life get their hands on a chunk of money, and when I say a chunk of money, I'm saying 60 grand, 100 grand.
Right.
What's the first thing you do with it? Go buy a new car.
Yeah, that's the
and
worst,
come and brag.
Worst
and say,
thing you can do.
You know what I done? I paid this thing off. I don't even have a payment on it.
Yeah, it's the worst thing.
And I always just thought, do you realize what you could have made with that money?
Right.
If you'd have worked it, done something with it.
Yeah.
I think that's important. A lot of people don't work their money. They just use it for whatever. I mean, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Right.
If you're working every paycheck to paycheck and raising your family, great. I mean, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
That's great. But, you know, you got to be frugal in certain ways. But you also got to keep your eye open for a business opportunity or some way of working your money to turn it over all the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, I used to be very bad. I was a little bit of a business junkie, okay, as far as different businesses and things like that. And finally, my son, he took some classes, and he told me, he said, "Dad, you're not doing what you're supposed to do." He said, "You got too many things going on."
Right.
And that was easy to do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, I had a game store. I had different things. I had stuff that I thought, well, what in the world? And you know, and I was getting too many. And you can do that
too
sometimes.
Many irons in the fire.
Yeah, and then it just didn't. But I think when we talk about finances, it's important. And, you know, you got to be so careful with debt. Okay?
Absolutely.
Or you'll find yourself just being a bookkeeper.
Yeah, and a slave.
That's exactly. One time I was going to put an AT&T franchise in here in Tazewell. And I had the deal done, paperwork done. Had the lease on the building, painted it that orange and white. Had the shelving. It was right down here at the railroad tracks. I went in, got everything ready to go.
Right.
And I got the contract in from AT&T. I got to read it. And I said, you know, it looks to me like that you guys are going to be able to sell phones to people cheaper than I can sell phones to people. And I said, yeah. I said, it seems like I'm in competition with the people that I'm paying.
Right.
They said, yeah. I said, I don't think I'm going to do this. No. They said, well, you've already got the building. I had the internet, had the power done, had people lined up to work. And I said, but right now, I know how much money I'm going to lose.
Right.
But I think 2 years from now, I won't be able to figure it out.
No.
I said, so right now, where I didn't go to college, you know, I should have went, but I didn't go. But I don't know if it made that much difference. Right. But I mean, I said, I didn't go to college, so I'm going to write this as college education, X amount of dollars. This is how much it cost me. Right. And I'm going to turn, and I went back. Jack Harris, who I rented off of, I went back and said, Jack, this is a deal I run into, and I'm going to lose if I do this. He said, John, that's just fine. He let me out of that. Within one day, I had the power turned off, the internet turned off, the lease turned in, shut it all down, and knew exactly how much money I lost. But I said, that's the way sometimes, because you'll get into business and get into stuff, and it just keeps sucking at you. And I don't know I don't know how truck driving worked for you. I don't know how that worked.
It's kind of like what you're explaining, you know. It was our truck. You own your own truck. You know, sometimes everything was good, but there was a lot of times, if you had a lot of break, that old truck, I always said, and every trucker will tell you that old truck knows when you got money in the bank. It does. Every time something will go wrong. I think you're living good trucking, like an independent owner operator. You do well, better than most jobs around. Right. Everybody told me I was crazy for leaving that job at the coal mines to go trucking. Best decision I ever made, in my opinion. Right. I felt better, enjoyed it more. You know, it was one step closer to getting me to the farming to where I am today. You know? Right. Just how life works, the decisions you make. But you know, we done okay until you start having a lot of breakdowns. Then you're just turning money over. Right. You're just turning the same money over. It looks good, but you're not making any money.
You can turn $1 million a year and not make money.
No, sir, that's exactly right.
And just be bookkeeping.
Yep. Be a hired bookkeeper for yourself.
All you're doing is bookkeeping. You really can. Well, I tell you what, I appreciate Joe being with me, and I hope you all enjoy just from the shed. We're in the shed. Yep. Fancy background. We've got a lot of stuff going on. If anybody like to sponsor, Brillo's back here and
409.
Goo Gone 409. I done a review on this. Right. And had 400 people watch me.
Really?
I just done the seat of my four-wheeler. Yeah. I just went on it, cleaned it up, and went on live. 400 people watched.
Mothers back to back.
That's crazy. It's not that good stuff either.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me too.
I do.
Like you said in the beginning, you know, I think the same thing of you, John. I always thought you was a great guy.
I appreciate you.
It's a joy to be around. You know, when I'm around you, I have a good time and I enjoy your company. So
I believe in having fun.
Oh yeah, gotta have fun this life.
And if you can't, what's the use of having friends if you can't enjoy them? Yep. Or borrow money from them.
I ain't no used to have them. You're exactly right.
Thank y'all for watching Just From the Shed. Catch you later. Bye. All right, I'm here with my friend Joe. We're talking about different topics today. We're going over some different topics. We covered some things in the first version of this, but we got some other things we want to cover. One thing we're talking about, Joe, we're talking about, and you and I just talked before we started recording, you know, about TikTok and YouTube and all these things. And I've got some friends that absolutely hate it.
Right.
They tell you, do not do, I don't do. But I find so much. I was sitting the other day with my grandson. We were talking about the Great Wall of China.
Right.
Okay. And it's extremely interesting.
Yep.
And I mean, it took thousands of years to build this thing.
Right.
And I said, well, so I just flipped over to YouTube and found a documentary, and we watched it. We started watching it and learned a lot about it, stuff that I didn't know. And
right.
And I think things that, and I get a lot of things. My doctor, she's got in my chart that I get a lot of my medical information from TikTok. I think she's being a smart aleck. But when she told me that, I said, because I said, now hold on just a second.
Yeah.
But what I do is, I like to research stuff and take a look at things and think about it just a little bit. And I'm going to tell you something. That's like this, let's Ozempic.
Right.
Okay. And I'm just going to tell you how I feel. I was on it for a while because I'm type 2 diabetic.
Right.
And I was on it strictly for diabetes. It didn't make any difference in my weight. It like killed me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was messed up.
Yes.
And it took me 3 months to get over it.
Right.
And I've got friends right now that I'm just talking to them. They're getting ready to. They said we're on the Ozempic. I said, I'm telling you, you better research that.
Yeah, I had a nurse tell me. I mean, not a nurse practitioner. Somebody mentioned that around her, and I don't want to mention her name. She's local. Man, her face got as red as that ladder when they said that. And she said, what kind of dummy would try to force themselves into being a diabetic when they're not? She said, that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
And you're talking about messing your digestive system up, and things like that. It really hurt. But anyway, I don't know what we were going to talk about. We were talking about information.
Yeah. TikTok.
You know, and be able to share things with people and do those things. And I think it's so important that because there's things that we go through in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you and I discussed this. There's things we go through that don't make us feel good at the time.
Right.
That hurt us.
Yep.
Break our heart.
Right.
Break our will.
Mm-hmm.
But if we'll understand that God is always in control, and there's a purpose and an end.
That's right.
And but there's things we go through in life that get us to the point we are.
Yes.
And we despise those things.
Yep. They're hard. We don't. You don't understand, but sometimes when you're going through something that's hard on you, I'm living proof of that. And it just got you strung to your end, and you don't know what you're going to do. There's a reason.
Yeah.
In the end, I mean, sometimes it don't for some people. I understand, but I also believe you got to love God in your heart before that will manifest in your life. Right. And if you truly do love the Lord, I honestly believe He'll He's put me right where I want to be. I got a great wife and great family, and doing what I always wanted to do.
Right. Right.
At one time in my life, it looked like it was pretty bleak, but then all of a sudden, the clouds clear out, and I'm like, man, here you go.
Yeah,
it's what you want to do the rest of I heard a guy say one time, and I don't know if I think this may be connected with, maybe with the Lord or however you feel or live your life, but he said, you are the sum of your thoughts. If you think about something long enough and want it bad enough, you'll become it. And I believe that wholeheartedly.
I bet that works with bad things.
It does.
Yep. I mean, I know people that will not go without drama.
Right. They got to have it.
They got to have drama.
And
I tell you what, because drama gives you a place to hide your excuses.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
It can give you a place to hide those. I tell you, we shared about this one time. You and I were driving down the road, and that I believe there's people that are mean to you that don't want to be mean to you. And that's hard to take.
It is.
Okay?
Yep.
And first thing when I talked to you about that, I said, I'm going to tell you something, but it's going to be hard to take.
It was a good lesson.
There's people that are mean to you, and this comes back from the Bible. When Pharaoh, when God sent Moses to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. He said, oh, by the way, Moses, now when you go, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart where he won't hear you. Right. I mean, I'm going to send you to do an impossible job.
Right.
And Pharaoh was mean to Moses and mean to the children of Israel. He didn't want to be.
But God had hardened his heart.
But God needed to get them where they needed to be.
Right.
So how does that work with us?
I mean, it would have to work the same way.
Okay.
I know that the day me and you talked about that, it was kind of like a light bulb went off after you think about it. If you'll really sit and think about what he just said, you'll understand it. That sometimes when people mistreat you, there's a reason they're mistreating you. They're treating you that way to get you in the end to where down the road you need to be on, in the direction you need to go.
I called it the barbed wire syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay. And I shared this with you. I said, sometimes the barbed wire, I don't know if you've ever fooled with barbed wire. Okay. Barbed wires are really a problem. Okay. Now, when you go to climb across it, I swear I don't care how careful you are. That barbed wire will get you in the straddle or it'll get you in the back.
Every time.
Okay?
Every time.
And every time it does, ain't gonna make you mad. If you're human, you'll get mad. When that barbed wire sticks you in the back, it's an awful feeling. Okay, sometimes you get by with it in the middle, but in the back, it's an awful feeling. But if that barbed wire is sitting on the edge of a cliff and it's trying to keep you from going over, it's your friend.
Right.
Okay, sometimes it's your enemy, sometimes it's your friend. And there's people in your life that will absolutely be mean to you to get you to go to a position you need to be in that won't want to be, because God's trying to adjust you and move you around.
That's exactly right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I found
believe.
it.
Yeah.
And there's people in your life that don't need to be in your life.
No.
That you would not distance yourself from.
Right. That's exactly right. But it's all for an end goal, you know.
Yeah.
I do. After you said that, it's clear to see.
Yeah.
That very well could be it. Yeah.
I found there's this
hard to
stuff.
understand, but
Yeah,
a lot of truth in it.
It's aggravating. It really is. All right. Well, now let's talk about something that, and I know I'm not saying she's not my friend, okay, but Jody's pretty rough on me, okay, on this cooking and stuff like that, okay, but I'm not holding it against her because she's challenging me to do better with my cornbread. My cornbread,
she's bringing the best
okay,
out of
my cornbread and stuff like that. And
she just got done telling me that you and her were going to start a cooking show and take the world by storm. That's what's on her mind, no matter how hard she's been.
Well, what I've been thinking about is I wish the Lord would send somebody pretty to come along to do that.
There you go.
Okay, see, if they can do that, I can do the work part. I can do that back end of that part, because if God did use an old rough boy right up to the point, and then we can turn. I've said if I ever write another book, and I wrote a book or two, but if I write another book, I'm gonna put Paris Hilton on the front of it. You know, some kind of pretty girl.
Oh yeah,
not me, not
no
picture, not no picture of me. I'm gonna put them on there. I'm gonna do that. But Jody in the cornbread, and her and I, this is a pretty stiff competition. But I think yesterday I knocked it out of the park with the cornbread. I made some of the most beautiful cornbread. I almost cried.
It was pretty.
When I made it. It was pretty, wasn't it?
Was
it really was.
Yes,
and,
it was.
Made it, and everybody wants the recipe for it, and I'm going to try my best to share it. But
there you go.
It was good.
Leave out a couple ingredients, a couple little steps. You don't want it looking that good for everybody.
I'll say cook at 150.
Yeah.
Tell me about Jody.
Man, she's amazing.
That's his wife.
That's
in
my
case
wife.
I didn't want you to think it was a colleague.
She had
or something.
2 daughters, and before we got married, she had 2 daughters, and I had a daughter and a son. So, kind of a blended family, but and had little Sam together. So, had a little boy. He's 4 years old. His name's Sam. She's wonderful. One good thing about her, she's as tough as they come.
Right.
People don't realize she can do anything I can do on that farm. My buddies would get mad at me. One of them runs a place on a mining business, and another one's got a tree company, and I got other guys that they are like, I said, let's go to the racetrack. And they'd be like, well, we just can't drop everything, Joe. All of us ain't got a wife that can do our job. They just can't step in and do, but she can take care of business. And she's been in that, that a lot longer than I have. They've had, her and her dad had cow-calf operation for all her life.
Right.
So, she's been there all her life on that farm, and I'm just I'm there to help and maintain the property and make sure the legacy goes on.
She seems very even.
She is.
I mean, I've watched her in a few stressful situations that I thought were stressful.
And in one little incident, we had down there. We don't want to talk about it, but we had that incident, and I came over with all that, and she said, and she just said, "Are you okay?" Just as calm as a.
Well, now she said some other things.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. This is what she said. Okay. She said this, and we won't talk about the altercation because stuff happens.
Yeah.
The T-shirt says stuff happens, sort
That's
of.
right. Yeah.
Anyway, there was a situation, and Joe had a little bit of blood on his face and things like that, and was sort of scuffed up a little bit, and she was wiping it off, and she just that's what I really liked. She's wiping it off. I remember it like yesterday. She's wiping it off. She said, "Now listen, if you wind up in the Russell County Jail, me and the girls are still going to the Myrtle Beach tomorrow."
Yeah, we were leaving for the beach tomorrow. She said,
"We're going without you."
She did not want me to retaliate.
Yeah,
so.
she said, but anyway, the whole thing I seen was she said, Yeah, I really love you, Joe. But she didn't say she loved you, but I felt like she did. She
Yeah.
said,
She
"We're going
says it
without you.
different.
We're going
Yes,
without
sir.
you."
She would have. She'd have rolled right
Yeah,
out of town.
I felt like she would. She seems like that nature about her.
Yeah, exactly.
And
she means business.
But I mean, now, so you know, you seem to get along good.
We do.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is, me and her's talked about. There's people that's got separate jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That Dad gets up, Mom gets up.
Right.
They drink coffee.
Right.
Dad goes to work, Mom goes to work. They don't see each other until
Exactly.
7 o'clock at night.
Exactly.
And then on the weekends, they might shop together one day, and they're at each other's throat, and they're fighting and arguing and mad.
What little time they have.
Me and her see each other every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes all day long. We work together.
Right.
No trouble. We pick and spat.
Right.
Just about it. Well, me and her have more disagreements on whether a gate should be hung here and which way it should swing.
Right.
For the cattle to come through.
Right.
That's it. No, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm very happy and blessed to have her.
Yeah, I'm blessed. Janice and I have worked together for over 30 years. Across the desk from each other, we work together, and everything we've done we've done them together.
Right.
We and she does a lot of filming from the programs. I have little problems because she wants to talk while she's filming, and I've had to jump on her a little bit last night over that. I said, you're the camera person.
Right.
You don't supposed to involve yourself in the story.
There you go.
I said, the story's about me, not about you and me. And
right.
So anyway, and then she'll huff a little and shake the camera.
Yeah.
But I mean, but we work together like that, and it's that's wealth.
That's right.
Ain't it?
It is.
That's
what
time
matters.
and wealth.
If you ain't got a dollar to your name, that matters. That's what we was talking about. Yeah.
That is. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that when we come down to that type of love, and see, when the Bible talks about what love is and love is not, I mean, it's not just an emotion. Right. Love is not stingy. Right. Love is not vengeful.
Right.
And there's things that love is not, and love is this. Love is patient.
Right.
And love is kind.
Right.
Kindness, that's not an emotion, that's an action.
That's right.
And to love somebody.
And you've got to have, you have to have a friendship inside the relationship.
Right.
If there's not a friendship inside the relationship, I say it won't work.
Yeah. I
always felt that way. I love her, and you got to love your wife and care for them, but at the same time, they got to be your friend.
Exactly.
And you got to know that they're the last one that's going to put a knife in your back if it comes right down to it.
One of the things,
and a good friend's hard to find.
One of the things I found I've done, and I've been married for a long time. It's over 40 years now. One of the things I found too is that I really try to make sure I do as much as I can. If something needs picked up, I pick it up.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I don't go to bed at night if I'm drinking a soft drink or something going. I got a cup or I got some. When I get up at night or I get ready to go to bed, even if Janice goes to bed before me, I make sure I pick everything up.
Right.
And if there's a piece of paper, if there's something here, I want to pick it up.
Yeah.
And we argue over washing dishes sometimes because I don't want her to have to.
Right.
Okay. And I'll cook and she generally washes dishes faster than I can use them. We laugh sometimes. I'll use a pair of tongs and they'll get washed 3 times while I'm cooking once. Right. Okay. Because she'll grab them tongs and wash them. But I mean, I try to make sure that I make her life as easy as I can. Yes. What do you think about that?
I think that's wonderful. Now, I have to say,
you got to do better, Joe.
I know. I would definitely have room for improvement in that area because, I mean, I try to pick up, but most of the time it's when she says, "Pick that up," you got to do better. I got to do better there. I'm shortcoming in that area.
And it really makes a difference. I think what it does is show respect. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you can
no matter what you've done, how long you've worked today, or what you've done, coming home and doing that still shows that respect.
Yeah, I mean, I make sure my clothes go in the hamper. I make sure I really look at stuff, and I try to be careful. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and I know but I'm 65. Okay, I mean, I should have learned a little something, but I mean, I make sure that sink's wiped off.
Right. I'm a late bloomer. We're late bloomers.
Okay. I mean, you know what I mean?
I'm not slow learners. We're late bloomers. Yeah. So, that's what I always felt like.
I mean, I make sure that sink is wiped off.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I take a cloth and make sure that sink is dry. Make sure things are neat. And you doing those kind of things, I believe, shows respect and that. And we can still love our wife and love our family, but that level of respect. See, we do everything in measure.
Right.
God is love, but we love.
Right.
Okay. And there's things that we do everything in measure, and I believe that respect is where we have to come up.
Right. That's exactly right.
So you're making a commitment here on national television.
I'm making a commitment here on live. Everybody
to do better.
I'm gonna do better.
Okay, Jody, me and you're on
He
this.
got me.
Okay, we are on this. Okay, I mean, you may got me on the cornbread, but I knew I could find something.
There you go.
That we could improve on.
You got it. Got it there, buddy.
But I think it is. I think just to do things like that, and I try my best. Now, one thing I've just in the last couple of years, I don't take the garbage out. Never did take garbage out. Married 30 years.
Right.
Didn't take the garbage out.
I do that.
See,
yeah, and haul it down to the community center.
She could sit it at the door and I can move it.
Right.
You know, and get out the door. But I mean, it's a lot closer now. The garbage can's just here and there. Right. But I got now to where I do take the garbage out. And once I started, now it's, oh no, she just sits it outside.
She got you trained now.
So
it's like training an old dog.
I don't cut the grass.
Well, no. I cut my grass.
I got a daughter-in-law who cuts the grass.
Yeah.
That's the way I did here. When this house that I'm living in, I paid for it, and I went up to the attorney, had a deed drew up, put it in her name and my son's name. I said, this is y'all's house now. You need to keep the grass cut.
Okay. That's the way of looking at it.
Okay, so
yes, sir.
And they take care of it. A while back, he asked me, he said, Dad, how come you don't get a heat pump put in this house? You know?
It's your house.
And I said, well, it ain't no investment for me. I mean, can I sell the house? No.
Right.
I said, and your mom and I, we got two of them little electric heaters on the wall, them little long baseboard heaters. One in one room, one in the other room. We turn them things up. They click a little bit. They heat just fine.
Keeps everything nice.
We got them little old air conditioner in my window, you know, and one in one room, one in there. I turned it on, and I've got an air conditioner in my bedroom that when I put it in the summertime, you know, I've got now where I've got a little more fancy. I use that white duct tape around it to keep it neat, you know,
so
stuff
black
like.
Or chrome
I don't use that chrome. No, I use that white duct tape. But I got one air conditioner that the button don't work real good.
Right.
Once you get it turned on, we have to leave it on all summer.
Yeah.
We just adjust the thermostat.
There you go.
You know, but it runs all summer. Sits there and runs because you can't turn it off. And she told me this time, she said, now, when you take that air conditioner out, you take it straight up to the dump and throw it. I said, no, we got it figured out now.
Yeah,
I'm not throwing that away.
No, that's a good one.
That's respect.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yeah.
You know, you cook any?
I do. I actually love to cook. I do a lot of cooking at home. With my smoker outside, I know that doesn't count as cooking, but
it kind of
does. Well, I do a lot of smoking outside. Got a good buddy, Brian Stokes, got me kind of turned on to smoking. Good. He's really into it, and we got us one a couple of years ago, and it really changed the whole game. Right. If you don't have one, you should look into one. But I cook a lot in the house. Do a lot of cooking, and Jody actually will tell you that I'm a pretty good cook. You know,
that's a sign of affection. I was studying on the Hawaiian culture one time, and that's a great sign of affection is when we cook for our family. Really? When we do that, that really is a sign. It's a true sign from our heart of affection that we want to see them eat and enjoy that meal. Right. That comes from way back, and but it's a true sign of affection. It really is.
It would be. Yeah.
I never cooked a bit till the pandemic.
Really?
I never done. You know, I had 8 restaurants at one time, but it was hamburgers and hot dogs. But I mean, I never done any cooking. And when the pandemic hit, and we couldn't go places like we wanted to, I got to watching YouTube, and there was a guy on there called Drunk Steve. Okay.
Old Drunk Steve.
Drunk Steve. He would drink, and he would go camping someplace. He camped in different places, like under a bridge, or he would camp behind a big billboard or stuff like that, just odd places, and put up a tarpaulin. And I would watch him get out this food out of his backpack, some meat and potatoes and all that stuff, and he would do a little old Coleman stove, and he would go cooking. And I said, I believe I can do that.
Yeah, kind of like the meat eater guy. Man.
Yeah,
he cooks some good meals on the side of a rock cliff on a mountain.
And I watched him, and I thought, so I started cooking. And the first thing I done was look at those kitchen cabinets, and I said, we've got to redesign these. And I redesigned them, fixed all my pots where they hung like I wanted, and bought extra utensils. And
you also need to get up with Jody. You saying that about her Princess House stuff that she does. Man, that stuff is top-notch pot and pan stuff. Huh. The Amish buy it off of her over in Burke's Garden. Yeah. They call them make big orders. Them women, the Amish ladies, they cook. That's all they cook with.
What is it? Tell me about it.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not messing this up. It's Princess House. And it's just it's a company. I think they're up north somewhere, Wisconsin or somewhere in there. And it's stainless steel. The pots, man, are heavy. all stainless, just high quality.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's got either a lifetime or an extremely long warranty on each piece of it. But you know, as a farmer and racing, beating around rough country boy, you know, you can get a hold of that pot and think, man, this is a nice pot, and a nice skillet. So I'm kind of barred. I'm kind of barred from skillets. I'm not supposed to use them because I got a bad habit of sticking something metal in there. Digging around.
Lord,
So
I've got rid of everything metal.
Paige got one down my stepdaughter the other day, and I was like, you know, we're gonna get in trouble. And we had eggs in it, and my mom coming down the hallway, and she was like, "Oh no!" And I said, "I told you not to get that skillet down." Yeah, nice stuff though.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
she can send you a book. You can look through the book.
Yeah. Well, that's neat. You know, I got a while back. I had I'm real funny over my pots and pans anyway. But I you know how you get like that. But I mean, I had a friend of mine, a Connie, that got me a set for Christmas, and she got them up at Ollie's, and I thought, well, it ain't gonna be no count. They come from Ollie's. It's gonna be this, and I swear they cleaned up the best. I've been using them a lot.
Right.
I said, man, and I called her a while back and said these things have turned out great. They just
something about an old cheap skillet, like, you know, you can't clean them. They get black in the bottom, and then that's it.
They wouldn't do it.
Like one time, and you burn it one time. If you let it get, it's over.
Yeah.
You're gonna have trouble out of it the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I can't cook on electric. I can only cook on gas. I've tried electric, and I can't cook on it. Somehow it gets in my mind. I can't cook it on electric. And then, but when it comes to the oven, I've got a big toaster oven. It's an Instapot toaster oven that's air fries and does all that kind of stuff. But I love that thing. I use it. I have absolutely wore it out. I'd like to have another one just like it to put on top of it.
Right.
So I could use both of them at the same time.
That's right.
Because I bake a lot of chicken and do stuff like that in it. But I enjoy cooking. I think it's a...
Yeah, I do too. I enjoy it. I really always have.
Yeah.
Especially wild game recipes. I love cooking anything wild game. So.
Well, we've covered some important topics here. Okay. All right. Now, when you talk about weaknesses and flaws, now I have some weaknesses and flaws.
Yep.
One I have is battery chargers.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I have got a lot of battery chargers.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of batteries, because when you get old, you have different funny things that you do.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
A battery, I write on them. See, good. Colson's camper.
There you go.
Okay.
Got everything.
I write on stuff. Good, bad. This one says so-so.
So-so.
Okay.
In the middle.
It goes to the electric cars, my grandson's cars.
Okay.
But I had got a good 8 battery chargers.
Yeah.
But what I found was, I took this other one the other day, and it wouldn't take a charge because it's plumb dead. And these other battery chargers are so smart that they wouldn't work. So what I done, I went to an old battery charger that I've had 20 years, and it fired it right up.
Get the job done.
Okay.
I still got a couple of those.
Those things that
switch from 12 to 6 volt.
Yeah, ain't it something that lasts forever?
I know.
I don't know who made it.
Yeah.
I don't know who made it. So when we talk about, do you have any kind of thing like that?
Tools.
Tools?
Yeah, I can't hardly go Bluefield without stopping in and buying some Icon tools or something, and you know, I get questioned, what do you need those for? Never know.
You ever go to Harbor Freight?
I do. Yeah.
Ooh, it's a weakness.
It is, but I'll tell you something, and I know we're on live TV here, but they have a brand of tool in there called Icon.
Okay.
They're starting to sell it. Buy it. It's more expensive. It's nowhere near as expensive as Snap-on or Mac Tools, but it's in the middle, and it is an excellent tool. And I've done mechanic work my whole life. Right. It's a great tool, and I haven't had a lot of luck out of the Pittsburgh brand and the Harbor Freight brand. If you use it a lot, if you come in your building and get a pair of needle nose and use them twice a year, probably gonna be okay. Start doing a lot of work with that stuff, it won't hold up. But that Icon brand, it will hold up.
You know, I do a lot of work on rental property, and my mom has a lot of rental property, and I work on it a lot. And I separate my stuff, my power tools, screws and nails, electrical, plumbing. I've got one that's nothing but hardware. That's hinges, stuff like that. I told people I can change the toilet out. You don't have to get off of it if you just lean forward. I can jerk that sucker out, put a wax ring in it, and have your water hooked back up.
Bolt it back to the floor.
I can have you just say, pow, I can do it. I can do your screen door at the same time. But I mean, I've got where I do a lot of that. I found the big thing is keeping that stuff organized.
That's right. A lot of, if you don't got your stuff organized, over half of the time you spend on the job, most times hunting the stuff to do it.
And then you'll have to go buy something else, and you'll have it.
And you got it. I do that. That's a weakness of mine also.
I use these bags in my toolbox.
Yep.
The reason why is, it seems like when you use your toolbox, you'll have stuff in it. And I'll do a review on this one day. In your toolbox, you'll have screwdrivers and you'll have your wrenches. But what I do is I buy those, and I'll have my screwdrivers all in it. I put my rulers in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll put my batteries for my DeWalt. I put them in it, in a bag.
Another good thing about Icon tool, everything you buy, like say you buy a set of screwdrivers, you know how the cheapo ones, you just rip the plastic open and they go everywhere, and then you just throw them in the drawer. Everything comes with its own case that'll fit right into the toolbox drawer. Man, plastic, hard plastic case with the screwdrivers, sockets, wrenches. Everything's in a case when you buy it from Icon.
Well, see, that's a lot. The only thing I did buy that I didn't like, I have a problem with these bits, okay? And I bought this. It's a useless pile of junk, okay? Useless pile of junk. Do not buy this junk, okay? The reason why is, first thing, it don't fit in your toolbox good.
Right.
And then, let's be honest. I mean, it's got 100 Phillips heads in here.
Yeah. And
first thing I do with a Phillips head screw is I throw it away.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, that's junk. And there's no way possible this will be in my estate when I die. Y'all remember that, okay? It'll bring about $3 is what it'll bring. I mean,
I won't buy it.
It won't buy it. Don't buy it. It's junk, okay?
Yeah, I go buy it.
I mean, it's just that. But what it does, it was on sale, and I said I'm going to buy that, and I said I have to keep that shelf there just to put that in.
Right.
And tool bags are a little bit of a weakness. I have got 20 tool bags.
Yes. Got to have stuff to work with.
Because you buy them.
That's what I keep telling
you.
And
one thing I like is I get some of these along, and I haven't quite got to where I'm using them. I like those. But I got these that go together, these little things that roll out.
Yep.
And I could about put most of my tools in one of these.
Right.
But I'm not a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and then what you do is you'll have 10 7/16 wrenches, and you'll be carrying them all around at the same time.
That's right.
I've got to where I changed. I go through, I pick them out, and I've got a whole box down there. It's called extra tools.
Yep. I got 3 or 4 of those.
And I said, all right, I throw that stuff. And I got to looking like screwdrivers. I would have 12 Phillips head screwdrivers. Right. I said, why do I carry?
Well, I got all my dad's stuff too when he passed away.
Oh,
so I got double the tools.
Yeah,
now,
yeah. Well, same thing my dad when he passed away. I mean, he's got tools over I haven't even picked up yet.
Right.
Okay. Air compressors.
Yeah.
I have got 4 or 5 air compressors. How did that happen?
I got 4 on the farm probably. At least a small one, a big one in the shop, and another one in another shop, and then I got a gas one that runs off a gas engine, a Honda engine.
See, I've got 3 of those pancake air compressors.
Right.
I've got a great big air compressor, a big one. I don't know how many horsepower motor on it. And then I've got a brand new one from Harbor Freight that's still in the box in the building.
Right.
That I've never opened yet. Okay? I mean,
you're ready. You never know.
I hope the Lord does not hold me accountable.
That'll bring more money in this state.
I always said, if you want to find out what your stuff is worth, go to an estate sale.
Yeah.
You know, and we had a big old television one time in the bedroom there. Wasn't it back when the big wide TVs, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, we took such care of that thing. Went to a estate sale. It's like $7. You know what I mean? People sell. I thought, you know what your stuff's worth if you go to that.
There you go.
My Lord. Well, we've covered about every topic there is. Some we probably shouldn't have covered, but we've covered them all. Do you use any DeWalt stuff, or do you like something better than DeWalt?
We have DeWalt stuff in the race shop, but we also got that Matebo, which used to be Hitachi. It's green. Okay. It's really good tool.
I've seen those.
Yeah, but we do have DeWalt. The tools are strong, really strong. I have a problem with their batteries. They just won't hold a charge long enough.
Yeah, I went over to the 20 volt.
Yeah, that's what we changed over to.
I went over to the 20 volt on this stuff. I'll tell you something that's handier than wings on a chair. I use this finishing nailer a lot. Mm-hmm. Okay? Right. And I keep a compressor here, and I went out and make sure I had all matching fittings.
Right.
Okay, because that's a problem. Why did they make them things?
It's the best thing to get them like that at Harbor Freight.
So anyway, I got it. Anytime I'm building anything, I hit that thing just as easy and keep me some staples in it. Right. And as I'm building, like when I built this, well, as I'm building it, I just dropped a few staples in my workbench to hold it together.
Yeah.
While I'm building one hand. And then I just
Then you
flop back
screw it
out and put
together.
my screws in it, make it work.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that finishing nailer has been the handiest thing. And I didn't use it for 2 years, 2 or 3 years. I wasn't using it. And I said, I need a finishing nailer. I went over to the shop and had 5.
Right. There you go.
You know, I said, what
Plenty
in
of
the world? That's like these bag chairs. You can't see those now.
Oh, man, those things are growing at my house. Dude, I'm telling you, they're multiplying.
I know it.
Every time I look around, I'm like, where are these things coming from? There's 2 sitting around everywhere I look.
I had 12 in the truck the other day.
Yes.
See, I said I took them extra for people in case they needed to sit down. We had a little thing over in West Virginia.
Right.
And I got them everywhere.
Yeah.
Bag chairs. And you.
I don't remember buying that many. That's what I can't put together.
But do you get to where you sit in one? Well, it ain't just right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my
Then
mother-in-law bought me 2 nice ones. They fold, they're real wide.
Yeah.
Got a little table on the side that folds up, holds your drink.
I got 2 of
They're
those.
nice. Yeah.
A little hard to move around.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little heavy.
They're hard
you
to
have to
move
go a long
around.
distance.
And my daughter got me one with that rocks. With that rocks,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it, and I gave it back to her. She got it from the Father's Day.
Right.
And I tried it a while, and I said, I just gave it back. I said, you need to get me something else.
Right.
I said, I don't like. And she ain't got me nothing yet. But I asked her about it the other day. I said, have you got me anything else for Father's Day? And I said, because I gave her the chair back. I said, I don't like this chair. It leans back too far, and to go to the races, I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, and but I think we can get to collecting stuff.
Oh yeah, easy.
And I'm just
Very
hoping the
easy.
Lord don't hold me all accountable for some of this. There's stuff I've absolutely collected up. I mean, it's crazy. And when you look in this little building, I mean,
Hey, what was you planning on doing with all that, John?
Hey, listen. I mean, how many levels do I have?
Yeah, I see.
What is that? How many?
2,
1?
3. Yeah, there's plenty of
I
levels.
thought, no, there's more over here.
Oh, there's 4. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 4
Yeah, it's
levels.
gross.
4
Yeah.
levels in here. I
Yeah.
mean, how unlevel can something be?
Exactly.
4 levels, 5 battery chargers.
Gotta have stuff,
I
man.
carry
Gotta have
this
tools
stuff.
to work with.
You know, and having, I tell you some of the
It's always
handiest
been my
things.
excuse to keep them off of us for buying it anyway.
Yeah.
Gotta have it. Never know.
And the handiest thing I've done, well, there's a lot of stuff handy. Sawhorses.
Yeah.
I got sawhorses right here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
And I make myself use a sawhorse.
Right.
Instead of cutting off of a tailgate or cutting off a table,
Yeah.
I said no. And when I'm working on stuff, I get them sawhorses out, fold them out.
Makes it easier.
I do it. And I said, if
You
you
ain't
do
got to
that,
always be moving, worried about
Uh-huh.
where that blade's going to hit.
I do it. I just take my time. And I've had some impulse buys that I like that ladder. I got an expandable ladder.
I've seen that.
That really looks better than it is, okay?
Right.
Because the farther it is out, the flimsier it is.
Yeah.
And I'm 270 pounds, and it's rated at 300,
Right.
okay? But 270 seems to make it
Gets a
uncomfortable.
little shaky up toward the top.
It makes it uncomfortable. I don't like it at all. It gives me a little bit. One thing I have bought, and I'll do a review on some of the stuff later. I bought a pressure washer. If you don't get a 3,000 pound PSI, you ain't got nothing.
Right.
I mean, them other ones, but I bought an electric instead of gas.
Everybody says they're great. I've never owned one.
I bought that 3,000 pound PSI electric.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about it. You know, and I've got a generator that I've never put gas in. It runs off of LP gas.
I got one that run from gas and switched.
But I
LP
don't put gas in it. Never have put gas in it because I don't want to mess it up.
Right. Okay.
I put nothing but bottle gas.
How long that thing run on a tank, on small like a grill tank?
You know, it'll run probably 8 hours.
Well.
Yeah. It'll run 8 hours. It's really, I got it up there. I got that. I used to collect a lot of generators. I've done trailers like that one time.
I got one of them super quiets.
See?
I can set that thing 20 feet from my camper in big tumbling and where there's no noise, just still, peace. You about have to sit and hunt to hear it run in the camper.
Yeah.
You can hear just a little hum when you walk outside.
That's neat. This one I guess not like this. One of those I got from Lowe's.
It's a Predator from Harbor Freight.
Is it?
Super quiet. Yeah.
Right. I love generator on my camper. I use a generator all the time. I mean, it just, you know, don't use a lot, don't cost a lot to run it. It runs pretty reasonable and stuff like it. But what we're saying is you can collect stuff. And don't be backward about it. I mean, I have got stuff I can show you around me that's unreal. Yeah. I have got. Now listen, there's nobody that needs this.
Racers. Those come in handy on a race car for the wheel bearings, but.
Well, I'll bring that. No, you won't like it. You'll be mad. Okay, and stuff like this. Solar powered twinkle lights. Okay, you know why I got them? Temu. Okay, solar powered. I mean, I get stuff. I mean, you know.
Yeah, got stuff for sure.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, this building is loaded.
Yeah.
And, you know, I bought this building for my Harley. I used to have a Harley Davidson. We still call it the Harley building.
Right.
Okay. But Dwayne's got my Harley now, and I don't have it. And I just started working in here and fixing stuff. But the whole idea is, if you don't keep your stuff organized.
That's right. You got to keep it organized.
You got to keep it that way.
Yep.
Well, all right. We talked about every topic there is. What we would like for you to do, if you'd like to follow or click or heart or do whatever, we'd appreciate that. But if you don't, just keep watching. It'll be okay. We will share words of wisdom. Joe is a good fella. He is my friend. I really, and I've even sold him a horse in the past. So if you still got somebody as your friend, you've sold a horse.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
That's about the fella that. So guy come by to buy a horse off of him, and he bought the horse, and he's supposed to deliver it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so when he did, the guy seen the man the next day at the gas station, and he was telling me, he said, "I need you to go and bring my horse over." He said, "Got bad news. That horse died last night." He said, "Died?" He said, he said, "Yeah, your horse died." He said, "Well, I don't care. Bring it over."
Yeah.
He loaded it up and back in the dump truck, brought it over and dumped it in the front yard.
Yeah.
And he seen the man about a week later, and he said, he's laughing at him about his horse. He said, "Yeah, what'd you do with that old dead horse?" He said, "I sold chances on it, $5 a piece." He said, "I made $3,000 off that horse." He said, "Well, wasn't them people mad?" He said, "Just the guy that won, I gave his $5 back."
Well, yeah.
I mean, he
took
a bad situation, turned it right around. Turned it
for the good.
Turned it right around.
Right.
All right. One thing we've talked about, keep in mind too, it's easy to buy stuff you just don't need. I'm not talking about little things like wrenches, because we'll still buy that. Okay, but watch with those big purchases, things that you really just don't need. Yeah. And I fight that all the time. I mean, I look at, we laugh, Janice and I, all my vehicles got over 100,000 miles on them, okay? But they run so good, there's nothing, I can't find no reason not to keep them.
Right.
Okay, I can't find a reason not to get a new pickup truck. I got 120,000 on mine, but I really can't find a reason. So I shouldn't. Now, you can drive by and it's easy to feel good. Say, I'm just going to get that. Okay, but man, that debt is always bondage. It's always bondage. Debt is, you really, unless you make it work for you somehow, like Joe's talking about, you got to be careful. It'll yoke you out. Number 2, respect. Really work on all the time having more respect for your family, for your wife, for your husband. Have respect, okay? Show respect. Don't just have it. That talk is cheap. Kids watch you more than they listen to you. They'll watch you to see what you do. Sure. And you got to make sure that they see you having respect. See you, not just hear about it. Talk is just so cheap. So cheap. Show those things. Appreciate you. This has been Just from the Shed. Later. Appreciate you, buddy.
That was pretty good. We covered